So you got a PS4, slim or otherwise. Today we're working with a slim that wound up with roaches for whatever reason, whether you took it over a friend's house or you have them yourself. Someday I'll make a video on how to get rid of the roaches in the house, even if your parents can't afford to pay for service through a company. But for now, we're talking about your game system. So after you've determined that you have the roaches and you want to clean up your system, remove all of the roaches, this particular power supply that we're going to be working with today has already gone through my decontamination process, which means that all of the roaches in the power supply should be dead. I pulled this out a little bit early. Someday I will put up a video that shows my decontamination process, how I eliminate every single last roach inside your system without ever opening it up, not using any kind of chemicals whatsoever. I'm not vacuuming, I'm not sticking it in a bag. I'll show you that someday when I put up the video, most likely talking about how to get rid of all the roaches in the house. Anyway, you got no power whatsoever, not blue light or anything, although that may be an issue with a power supply. It's very rarely actually an issue with a power supply. But if you got no power whatsoever and you have determined you got roaches, you need to address your power supply just to check to see if it is actually burned out. Once you've determined that it is burned out, then you want to open it up and see if a cleaning will take care of the problem. So that's what we're going to do today. Alright, so this is a slim power supply. It's got one screw right in the middle. It's just a Phillips head screw. Unscrew it, turn it over, the screw will pop out. Okay. Now, sometimes this helps if you have a spudger or something to do it, but more often than not you can just do it by hand. Just separate very carefully. Okay, see, it's not wanting to separate here, so here's where we would use the spudger. Get right up there. Trying to make sure I stay on screen, so it's a little harder for me to do this while there's a camera on it. Okay, and then this side, at the back, you need to unlock that so it's not wanting to pop up open real easily. I'm going to use a spudger on it again, and then this far side. There we go. See, looky there, we already got stuff falling out, and you can see all the roach poo. Now don't worry, there will be no live roaches. They will all be dead because I've already sent this through decontamination. That means there's nothing alive in this system. So let's see if we can find where the culprit is that wiped out this power supply. Okay, just kind of give a visual inspection. Okay. I see one spot, maybe. Don't remember what the voltages was on that, but let's take you on a close-up tour. Okay, so got your system here. There we go. It's upside down, so I don't know. No, I don't think he was the short. see. Come around. Okay. There we go. I think that was it there. I think this is the guy that killed the power supply. It looks like it's dark right there. Yep. See that? There's an arc across from here to here. Okay. So now that you found the arc, you'll know where to start looking for your bad components. Okay, so I'm just going to mark that. Now, I would recommend, if you have no education in electronics, that you not, repeat, not attempt to repair anything on this power supply, because this is the one item in the entire system that if you mess something up, you can burn down your house and kill everybody in it, along with a few neighbors. So please, don't fix power supplies unless you've actually gone to school for component level electronics. Matter of fact, you shouldn't even be inside your game system if you haven't gone to school for at least basic electronics, because with all likelihood you're going to destroy it. I know there's a lot of YouTube videos on there that tell you, oh, if your game system's doing this, do that. Well, that's not true. 99% of the time, and I do mean 99.999% of the time, just because it's having a problem, say, reading discs, that doesn't mean it's the disk drive. So for them to say, if you're not reading discs, replace your laser, that's an idiotic statement. Okay, there's a million parts inside the disk drive that can cause it to not read, and a couple hundred reasons on the motherboard that can cause it to do the exact same thing, not read. So no matter how one symptom presents itself, and no matter how accurately their symptom is to yours, that does not mean that's your problem. It just means that's one possibility of a repair. And there's no such thing as common on these PS4s. I'm telling you that straight up right now. Although some things might be a little bit more often than others, they're across the board. Okay, Sony's PS4, in my opinion, is getting the reputation of the older Xbox 360s. I get nowadays 40 serious issues, I get 40 game system, 40 PS4s of all the models, with every one of them with a serious issue, to every one Xbox One or Xbox One S model I get in the shop. So that's a 40-to-1 ratio. 40 PS4s with serious issues to every Xbox of any model, regardless of issue, even considering cleanouts, which is general. Alright, so if it's after removing that little guy there, test it in the system one more time if you don't have to repair anything good, because it may have still been shorting across, just the bug. And once you remove that bug, it may actually turn back on. So put it back together, test it. If it doesn't, buy a new power supply. Seriously, buy a new power supply. It's safer than waking up dead. Okay, I'm just saying. Because you haven't gone to school for electronics. Yeah, you might be able to find possibilities. You might even accidentally fix it yourself. But in order for you to fix it yourself, you would need to buy soldering iron and all this other stuff. For the cost of that soldering iron, you would literally be able to buy the power supply itself. Not to mention you're going to have, dang this autofocus is really getting me. The soldering iron would cost about the price of the power supply. Okay, and you're still going to have to add solder, flux, and all that other stuff. So it would cost you more money to fix it yourself than it would be if you just bought a new power supply. So home repairs for power supplies, just don't do it. Okay? This is part of I'm going to be editing a bunch of videos together.